Hello everyone, this is Dr. K. Jagannayaki, Professor in MBA Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So today I would like to discuss with you all about price output determination in case of perfect competition and monopoly. So after going through this topic, the learner will be able to understand the meaning of price and how to determine the price and what factors affect the price determination and how to maintain price equilibrium in different situations. So, coming to price meaning, what is price? So, price means it is a finite amount. You can say it is a value of a good or service. So, it is worth that buys a finite amount, weight, or another match of goods or services. So, the sales price minus cost price equal to profit margin. So, every organization they will keep in their mind when they are going to determine the price of a product or service because they will keep some margin to generate the profits. So, in other words, it is also expresses the value of the goods produced and the services rendered by the factors of production such as land, labor, and capital. Thus, the determination of price is one of the greatest significance in an economy. Then coming to the price determination, so it is based on number of factors like based on the demand, how much cost incurred to produce a good or service, what kind of competition available in the market, what is the life cycle of a product, and what are the different kinds of channels of sales or distribution channels, and what kind of government intervenes in terms of the tax benefits and cost benefits. So that and all comes under price determination. So determination of prices means to determine the cost of goods sold and services rendered in the free market. So in a free market, the forces of demand and supply determine the prices. So based on the demand and the supply conditions, we used to fix the price of a commodity. The government does not interfere in the determination of the prices, but in some cases, the government may intervene in determining the prices. For example, the government has fixed the minimum selling price for the weight. So during that case, if any of the vendor they increase the price of weight, then in that cases the government involvement should be there. Otherwise, there is very less government intervention by determining the prices. Then, what factors affect the price determination? The first one is product cost. So, how much cost or expenditure incurred to produce a good or a service? So, how much is the direct cost and how much is indirect? How much capital you have spent on fixed asset and how much amount you have spent on variables? So, all those things we used to consider as the product cost. Then the utility and demand. So what about the demand and supply conditions? So based on the demand only, the manufacturer has to supply the goods and services. And the extent of competition in the market. What kind of competition is there, whether it is perfect competition or imperfect. So when you are saying that there is imperfect competition, then again we have to categorize whether it is monopoly, oligopoly, duopoly, or monopolistic type of competition. So all those things we used to consider, and government and legal regulations also we should consider while determining the price of a commodity and pricing objectives and marketing methods used. So all these things we should consider. And coming to the determination of price equilibrium. So equilibrium means wherever the demand and supply both equals, that position is known as equilibrium. So the price that makes demand equivalent to supply is called equilibrium price. So if you see the graph, it can be said that the equilibrium price is the point where the demand curve and the supply curve intersect with each other. So that particular point is known as equilibrium point, the price at which both the demand curve and curve intersect, and that price is known as equilibrium price. So it is the price at which there is no unsold stock left, neither is any demand unfulfilled. So whatever demand will get from the market, the company also they used to satisfy the complete demand. So it is also known as the market clearing price. So once the equilibrium price and quantity are reached, we attain stable equilibrium. So stable equilibrium adjusts any disturbance in the demand and supply and restores the original equilibrium. So always they used to maintain equilibrium between the demand and supply conditions. And other things remaining the same, when the price falls below the equilibrium price, then the demand increases and supply decreases. There arises a shortage of goods, which in return increases the price to equilibrium price. So, similarly, when the price rises above the equilibrium price, then the demand decreases and supply increases. There arises a surplus goods, which in turn decreases the price to equilibrium price. Thus, the market restores the equilibrium price on its own. So, however, the prices are not determined only by the forces of demand and supply. There are other factors also that influence, like price of substitute goods, price of related goods, government policies. All these things also influence the price determination conditions. Then, coming to the price statistics, so we have two types of prices. One is wholesale price index, another one is consumer price index. So CPI is known as consumer price index, which includes only final goods bought by consumers, and WPI, which is known as wholesale price index, only intermediate goods. So if you take examples like bread, cheese, shirt, socks, skirt, ties are in CPI, consumer price index, whereas wheat, flour, milk, yarn, cloth, etc. are in WPI, wholesale price index. Newspapers, cigarettes are in CPI, print paper and tobacco are in WPI. So 50% of CPI is services and residential rent. Eating at a restaurant, going to a movie, visiting a doctor, taking a bus are only in consumer price index. There are no services in wholesale price index. So renting a house is in CPI, but renting an office is not in WPI. So coming to the methods of measuring inflation. So inflation can be measured with the help of two indexes. One is CPI, another one is WPI. So when you're talking about CPI, it measures change in retail prices, whereas WPI measures changes in wholesale prices. And CPI, whatever we used to measure, that is measured by CSO, and whereas here it is measured by OE and DIPP. Number of items, 100 goods and services considered under consumer price index, whereas number of items, 697 goods only considered as per wholesale price index. When coming to the base year, 2012 is the base year for consumer price index, whereas for wholesale price index, the base year is considered as 2011 to 12. Then coming to the different types of consumer price indexes, one is CPI rural, CPI urban, and CPI combined, rural plus urban, like how they used to measure the inflation by using two different indices. The price of a commodity in wholesale is 6 rupees, the same at retail markets, they used to sell at 10 rupees each. So that's how they used to measure the inflation based on CPI and WPI. And coming to the price output at perfect competition. So if you see this table, price of curd is 2 rupees, your quantity demanded is 90, and you can able to supply only 30 liters. So in this case, the demand is more than supply. Even if you see the price of curd 3 rupees, the demand is 80 and the quantity supplied is 40. Here also demand is greater than supply. If you see till 4 cases, like 70 is the quantity demanded and quantity supplied 50. But if the price of curd is 5 rupees, the quantity demanded is reduced to 60 and quantity supplied is also 60. So this is the equilibrium price. D is equal to S, where the demand conditions equal to supply conditions. But later on, if you see at the rate of 6 rupees, 7 and 8 rupees, the quantity demanded is less but supplied is more than the demand. So demand is less than supply. So if you project the same on a graph, we'll get the demand and supply curves intersect at point E, and that price is considered as equilibrium price. So in this case, the equilibrium price is 5 rupees. Then price output at monopoly competition. So output 0, I kept the price is 14 rupees, $14, and total revenue is 0 as there is no production. Marginal revenue also 0, and total cost is 2 rupees. Average cost nil, marginal cost is also nil. So monopoly profits is minus 2. Then coming to output 1, here price of the product is 12. Total revenue also you have generated 12. Marginal revenue becomes 12 by 1, 1 only. Total cost 6 rupees. And average total cost 6 by 1, again it is 6. And marginal cost, the difference between 6 and 2, it is 4. And monopoly profit is 6 rupees. So like this, we can see based on when you are increasing the output, and you can see there is decline in the prices. As a result, even the monopolist also he can enjoy sometimes the profits and sometimes the losses. Then single price monopoly and competition compared. So redistribution of surpluses. Monopoly redistributes a portion of consumer surplus by changing it to producer surplus. So in this case, whatever the consumer surplus will be there, we used to convert it into producer surplus. Then coming to short run price output at monopoly competition. So in general already we have gone through the production function where we discussed about three types of profits. One is supernormal profit, another one is normal profit, then losses. So supernormal profit means if average revenue is greater than the average cost, the monopoly firm will earn supernormal profits. Whereas coming to normal profit, the monopoly firm at equilibrium will make normal profit if at equilibrium point where average revenue is equal to average cost. So in that case, the average curve is tangent to AR. Then in case of losses, if average revenue is less than average cost, then the monopoly firm will suffer from losses. In case of long run, the price output at monopoly competition, all factors are variable. LMC cuts MR from below. So if you see that in the long run, we'll get normal profits, and you cannot find super normal profits in case of long run price output, especially in monopoly competition. Then price output in the short run at monopolistic competition. So in the short run, a monopolistically competitive firm will produce up to the point where the marginal cost equal to marginal revenue. So this point is the short run profit whatever produced by the firm, and this is earning positive profits in the short run. So the firm will always earn positive profits in the short run, but in the long run they used to see the negative profits, which means the losses. Then price output in the long run at monopolistic competition. So as new firm enters a monopolistically competitive industry, the demand curve of existing firm it shifts to the left. If you see, pushing MR with them. So in the long run, the profits are eliminated. So instead of getting profits, This occurs for a firm when the demand curve is just tangent to average cost. If you see the demand curve, it is tangent to average cost. As a result, they will get losses rather than profits. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.